Hello, Monsters Abound here, back with some more Distant Worlds 2, which I really loved this game. Now, I know it had a rough launch, but they have been patching it relentlessly, and there is a new DLC coming out fairly soon. I think like the beginning of... where are we? September. Beginning of September, I think it's coming out. I think it's like 6th or something, 7th maybe? It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is, you get 2 new races, just like the race pack we've had before. We had the Hayut. Who are the other guys? Oh, the Akuru as well. And now we've got 2 new races. We've got the Gizurean, who are a short insectoid race with 4 arms. Can also fly short distances with their small wings. They're aggressive and unfriendly, although not very intelligent. Gizureans tend to have a high belligerency. They often make inflammatory claims of their own tribal superiority, viciously mock... They're football fans, basically. They're football fans. They're football fans that fuck. Gizureans have an intense dislike of other alien races. They're definitely football fans, especially non-insectoid races. This trait makes them difficult to peacefully assimilate into an empire. They have a high reproductive rate, and thus the empire can grow quickly and expand very quickly. Gizureans typically build their cavernous underground homes on rocky areas of rocky desert or sandy desert planets, but also sometimes found on desert savanna or volcanic planets. Now these guys... So their personality is they are very aggressive, reckless. They're not pretty dependable or not. They've got a very high reproduction rate. Their migration tendency is very, very high. Their assimilation rate is bad. And they really like desert planets. And they're not super happy about ocean planets. But otherwise, it's not too bad overall. They don't really have any dislikes overall. So, you know, they'll be fine there. Their research is bad because, you know, these boys, they fuck, and frankly, that takes up a lot of research time. So diplomacy as well, can't be bothered to, you know, sign treaties and stuff because they're too busy fucking. But war weariness reduction is increased. Boarding assault strength and defense strength is increased, so lots of boarding. Construction research is increased, troop research is increased, repair rate is increased because they've got like... they've got like biological hulls, I think, something like that. Troop maintenance and ship saving is increased, so their ships and troops are cheaper to maintain. They do not have any ambassadors, but the chance of admirals and generals appearing is much higher, although again less scientist chance there, so quite the negative, because obviously scientists are very useful when you go and do some research. They do have a bunch of special features. They waste nothing, so 25% increased chance of tech boosts when salvaging or retiring a ship with advanced tech, additional tech boosts when completely retiring an advanced ship. The scouring, a chance to scour a newly conquered enemy territory. Resets colony development, consumes 10% of the population and adds a temporary happiness penalty and damages reputation, but it provides additional conquest tech breakthrough, a large resource cache, and temporary boosts population growth. Rivalries, we can select between 2 characters in a power struggle, killing one of them but boosting the other with new skills and traits. Breeding World, which provides a bonus to Gizurean population growth rate through your empire whenever you use exterminate population policy against a non-Gizurean race at one of your colonies. Additionally, Breeding Worlds provide cumulative bonuses. Tribal Conflict, short-term empire-wide boost to Gizurean population growth rate, but with an accompanying happiness penalty. Swarm Command, special targeting computer for ships that allows increased targeting accuracy based on the total number of ships in a fleet. And we also have some unique traits. Gifted Conduit gives more colony happiness. Controlling Mind increases corruption reduction. Swarm Lord increases troop reduction, troop recruitment rate, and troop maintenance savings. And Larval Overseer increases troop recovery rate. Also a bunch of new techs, mostly based around armor and fighters. So that's kind of where they're going. Basically, they're swarm ships, aren't they? They're going for the swarm, and the techs they can't get are obviously ones that sort of like complement those. So they're sort of like, our techs are better than those ones, so we don't get those ones. Their victory conditions are to build the most military ships in the galaxy, have the most colonies, spend the most time at war, and capture the most ships and bases. So basically, very aggressive. Their War Swarm infantry, this is their base, their attack is absolute dog shit. The defense is fine. Basically, they are cheap, expendable troops, and as you can see, even our most liked races are like -40, so we do not like anyone. On the other hand, the Quameno are a highly intelligent amphibious race. They are tall and graceful with long limbs and neck. Large eyes are set on the sides of their heads, giving them excellent peripheral vision with a range of nearly 360 degrees. Quamenos are very peaceful and prefer to keep to themselves. They typically choose to live in isolation from other races, staying out of the mainstream of galactic activity. They enjoy difficult mental challenges, such as solving puzzles or deciphering unknown inscriptions. This natural inclination also makes them gifted linguists. They can master a new language within a few days. They also love to experiment with exotic scientific principles. In the process, they often produce potent technology. In fact, their natural fascination with unusual energy theories has led them to develop Nova Core, a very powerful and efficient reactor. Quamenos take incredible interest in galactic history. They also seek out particular prehistoric artifacts. Their studies have led many Quameno scholars to claim that there are large gaps in our understanding of past events. They live in typically submerged high-tech biodomes in the shallow coastal areas of mangrove forest, marshy swamp, or ocean planets. So, they are passive, they are very careful, they're very dependable, their reproduction rate is average, their migration tendency is low, and their assimilation rate is fairly low. They like those ocean, and they like moistness, basically, they like to be moist, and their research is very good. The diplomacy is not great, though, they're very isolationist. Espionage is pretty poor. Reactor research gets a nice big bonus there, but trade income, they're isolation, there's kind of xenophobic isolationists effect. They really like their research. So if you want to do a lot of research, these guys could well be the faction to play. Any distractions, +1 happiness and -20% research for 2 years when you sign a treaty with another faction. So I think that's interesting, because that actually tries to make you like not sign treaties, because you don't want to like debuff yourself. And actually I quite like that, because it gives you the choice, but you know if you do it, you're going to take that hit. So that's quite an interesting way of doing that, which I quite like. It kind of like draws you towards a certain way of playing. Reduced happiness and research output whenever you have an unassimilated alien population at your colony. The reduction amount relates to the proportion of unassimilated population. Again, I think it's a really interesting idea. It really makes you kind of go, oh, I don't really want these people in my empire. They're going to slow everything down. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but you just have to factor that in. +10% happiness for 5 years and a random tech boost when you build the Transcendence Hub planetary facility. And a puzzle solved. When completing an advanced research project, tech level 5 or greater, small chance of the following benefits. 10% happiness and 10% research for 2 years, plus a bonus positive trait on your leader and a scientist. Higher level projects have an increased chance of this event to occur. +5 happiness for 6 months whenever you build a new research station. 50% chance for 25% research bonus and related tech whenever discovering a new research location. 5% all research and -5% colony income as a leader trait. That's quite nice. Introverted is another leader trait. That's giving you -10% diplomacy. Scientist traits, you get driven, 5% all research, but increased chance for critical research failure. Efficiency specialist, 20% discount on the cost of a crash research. And you get some ambassador traits start. So all ambassadors start with a linguist trait, +5% diplomacy and +5% tourism income. So that kind of offsets your negatives, doesn't it? But you need the ambassador for that. So I guess you kind of like pick your friends quite carefully as these guys. And concurrent research disabled, can only research a single project at a time. So your techs are the Bubble Shields, Nova Core Reactor, Enigma Maze, and Transcendence Hub. I don't know what those do. And you have a Geniocracy, which is your special trait. Their infantry is slightly better than Gizurean, but then they don't really have like an upkeep reduction for that. So they're going to have less of them. But so yeah, these guys are definitely like swarming, aren't they? And most like races, they kind of like the Gizureans, the humans, and the Shandar, but they obviously dislike the insect races as a given. They don't really they don't have any issue with the Gizureans overall by the looks of it. But I guess they do have like a negative. It's just not like the most disliked. Anyway, obviously we're playing as the Gizureans because I like my insect boys. I don't know why, I just think they're neat. So that's what we're doing. We're going to play as the Gizureans. We're going to be a cell hegemony. There we go. So that's population growth increased by 5%, warriness reduction by 10%, counter-espionage by 10%. We do lose a little bit of research there, but we get a number of other decent bonuses, including ship maintenance and troop maintenance savings on top of what we already have. Colony corruption reduction as well, quite nice. Trade income is reduced. We also get quite a nice luxury resource consumption rate reduction, so we don't need as many luxury resources to maintain our empire. And we get an inspiring presence character trait likelihood, 100%. So I don't know if that's like a 100% increase or if that's just something new. So I guess because it's not mentioned here, it must be like a bonus. So you must have like a double chance of getting Inspiring Presence and a minus 70% of getting a Demoralizing. So Inspiring is a really good trait, which basically means every other leader in the same location as the character with the Inspiring Presence will slowly gain additional skills. So basically, if you dump everyone in the same place, they'll just start like skilling up, just in general, which is really strong. Demoralizing is the other way. People start losing. So obviously, you can potentially like make some very strong leaders, but I guess if you have that rivalry thing, you might actually end up killing them off. But I guess you can make some very strong characters, sort of like hive mind characters, which might be quite interesting. Anyway. So our typical leader term is 30 years. We get direct appointment, and our leadership change is -5, which is fine. And we get the appointment of a new character. Okay, let's go with that. Do we want that flag? Do we want something different? Might go with maybe that one. I think we're going to go with that one. Let's do that. Let's go with that. Right, I'm going to start at the far region. You know what? I'm going to start the far regions. That's where we're going to start, I think. That's what we're going to do. Home system I'm going to make agreeable. Expansion. Yeah, let's start with starting. And tech level is going to be pre-war. Yeah, okay, let's go with that. And we're going to have... Let's go with 10 to give everyone a little bit of time to sort of expand. Something like that. I've made the game hard with a restless galaxy. I was going to go with normal, but I went with hard. I don't know if that's going to kick me in the ass. We'll see. And I'm going to leave all this as basic, I think, yeah. So these are what the Quameno ships look like. It's kind of very, I want to say like 80s space. Sort of 70s, maybe 70s, 60s, 70s spaceship design, which I kind of like, although the Gizurean ships are, in my opinion, a lot. I think the insect ships are just always better. Like the the spider guys. The spider guys had amazing looking ships. I fucking love those things. Really nice ship design. I genuinely actually quite like this, only because it's a little bit zany. But the Gizureans have sort of like quite long ships, which I'm kind of more into. Our faction is known as a Gizurean Nexus. Our government is a cell hedgeon. Thingy-majig. We are the Gizureans, who are typically very aggressive and reckless. Gizureans have natural skills in war introduction, blah, blah, blah. Our leader is Jotari Greedle. Our home colony is Talos 4, a sandy desert planet, and Talos system nearby is a rocky metallic moon, Ekeri. Our faction has primitive technology, but just being attacked for space. Contact with Talos 3, an independent colony. Really? Got an independent colony already? Holy shit. Holy shit snacks. Hello? There we are. There we are. Good. Okay, so we start off with some things being built. We got a miner there, so that's obviously being built by the private economy. We've got some ships there, something like that. That's all fine. Right, first things first, we're going to build a small spaceport. Let's get that one right on the go. Okay, so yes, we have an independent colony there. I'm going to call that lunchtime. Just as soon as get our hands on it. Okay, so first things first. Let's have a look at the old characters, shall we? There is our he. Okay, so far not great. I'll level with you. Colony income -1%. Greedle, not the best, but we'll work on it. We'll see how that goes. Right, first, all right. What we need to do first is we need to build our spaceport. Once we build our spaceport, we need to build some explorers to explore shit, and we also need to do some research. We're getting early warp field. Right, that's what we need. We need the early warp field experiments. Ideally, we want to jump onto the next warp field as soon as we can. Okay, expanding outward. In the ancient Gizurean holding pens, we have made a curious discovery. There's never been a better time to be Gizurean. Though that may not be true, it may have been better in the distant past. We cannot say for any certainty. Still, It is a very good time. We are on the cusp of traversing the great unknown, claiming all we find for ourselves. Our stories say we once spread out among the stars, growing, expanding, multiplying, all fled from our relentless, unstoppable expansion. There were so many of us that made us the greatest and the strongest. Still, the past haunts us. How did we end up reduced to living on a single planet, growing, always growing, and so finding ourselves short of space? What caused us to lose all we once had? Did someone take it from us? They must be made to give it back. And where we were more? Each of us feels connected to the whole of Gizurean kind, but that connection seems wrong, diminished, like muffled sounds heard only through a wall, where once there should be voices, there is only silence. The secret of our former nature may be out there among the stars, and when we find out that secret, we will know who to blame, and we will devour them. We have found technology that has advanced our understanding of the early warp field experiments, and we have found a technology that advanced our understanding of research labs. Okay, good. So we get 10% colony development, and 8% armor research, and 4% scenery. Okay, that's not amazing, but that's fine. We've constructed a ship. This is kind of like what our ships look like. These kind of like long... I mean, basically, they kind of look like a wasp, don't they? Kind of like that sort of design, sort of long wasp, which I quite like. That's fine. So we've built some ships, which is all good. And that moon is awfully close to us, but I'm sure that's fine. We need some explorers, don't we? So we want to build some of these. How many can we build? How much money do we have? We'll go with that for the moment, I think. Money's currently not looking too bad. And I mean, the nice thing is, because we've got that nice growth rate, our population will grow very quickly. Due to our chosen government, we've gained insights into exploration scanners, improved sensors, and coordinated control. Oh, good. I guess that's good. Is that good? Probably good. It's probably fine. Yeah. Good. Okay, so research. Let's have a look at the old research tree. What we've got here. So we've got the improved sensors, which is very nice. We've got coordinated control, which is going to give that command center, which is going to give us the maintenance savings on building ships. Always nice. Now, automation. Now, the thing to know about distant stars is the fact that automation is pretty much... I need to turn on nebulas. There we go. Right. Okay, so we can kind of see what we've got here. Okay, that's not too bad. We're kind of cut off from this side, so we're sort of going to be expanding in this direction. Automation. So the game does a lot of stuff for you. It will just sort of like tick along. Things will get constructed without you asking for it. Ships will go and do their own thing. And you can, like, control that down to a incredible granular level. But frankly, it just isn't worth it. You may as well just let the game do its own thing. And for the most part, I mean, what I like to do is... if I find that I want to control something, I'll kind of go and take control over it. But there does come a point, like... early on, you probably want control over your fleets, but once your empire is big enough, you kind of just want to go, you know what? Knock yourself out. Like you can send your ships to go and do certain things. You can say, I want to take over this colony, but your kind of planets will, create troops. Your shipyards will create ships. Your fleets will then go and try and accomplish that goal. And I quite like that, in that you can start off quite zoomed in, and as the game continues, you sort of like cede control over certain things, because it's not as important anymore. If you've got like 20 odd fleets, does it matter if you lose one? Not really. You can reconstruct it almost immediately. Oh, critical research breakthrough. Nice. That is going to be really useful. That is going to be very, very useful. So basically, we're currently building our... hopefully building our exploration ships. They are ticking along. We might build more, but currently we're not doing great for money. So once we've got some exploration ships, they will start exploring, and that's kind of the next step. So because our moon is so close, we've actually been able to explore it with one of the new ships that's been... is this something? Oh, there we go, a navigator. So this is one of our navigator ships. So we have located some resources here. Now, this is quite a nice resource-rich moon, which is nice to have. So we definitely do want to build a mining station here. So we're going to request a mining station being constructed there. And what that means is that a free construction ship, which might be, there we go. So this is a construction ship here. That's going to head over to that moon and build a mine around that moon. And what that'll do is it'll start sort of like gathering resources from the moon. Now, each station can be modified. So you do have a ship design here. We will find that we have like a mining station. There it is. So we can edit this. This is our mining station. And we can make some changes here. We could do various different things. Currently, it's got a few sort of defenses and stuff, but for the most part, it's mostly just there for mining. It's fairly cheap and expendable. Should it get destroyed, we're not going to worry too much about that. And what that'll do is it'll start mining depending on its mining module. Start mining resources. Obviously, you can research better ones that mine stuff faster. It'll have a hold that can hold a certain amount of resources. So it'll start mining until it's filled those holds. Now, to build ships, your shipyards need those resources. So we need to transport those resources from that moon to that station. And the way we do that is, don't worry about it, because you have a private economy. And the private economy builds freighters that will go and grab resources from where they need to be and take them where they need to go. So effectively, you kind of end up with this like stream of private freighters sort of like delivering resources to your colonies and your stations. And so you need to sort of like have these mining stations all over the place to make sure that you're providing enough resources for your empire to be doing stuff. I really like that because it kind of makes your empire feel alive. So you end up with these like in between your major colony worlds, you'll have these like big like trade lanes as like freighters fly back and forth, like resupplying everything that you have. And it makes your galaxy feel alive in a way that you just don't get in Stellaris. Stellaris does some things really, really well that the galaxy never really feels alive. We've constructed a spaceport. There we go. So we can, there's our spaceport. It's basically a big like hivey thing. As spaceports get bigger, they look slightly different. Oh, we found an independent colony of T-cans. What the fuck are those guys? Are they here? Okay. We've encountered a lone trader ship, the Gallant Subterfuge in the Talos system. It does not appear to be a hostile pirate, but instead an independent space trader. Okay, and we got a mining station constructed there. Right, okay, so we do have an independent colony of Acteans, so these are like water people. We probably won't particularly like that planet. You can get independents to join you peacefully. Alternatively, you can invade them. So, you know, you have options. Okay, we have hyperspace technology discovered. Now, this is a big boost because at the start of the game, our ships have been sort of wandering around, and that's about as fast as they can go. If they want to get to another planetary body within our solar system, it's going to take them fucking ages. With the advent of hyperspace technology, we can now, well, do that a lot faster for a start. So, we're going to want to, yeah, I want that one, and I'm going to move that up because I want the stable warp field researched ASAP. Now, our ships will have to be retrofitted, but they will want to retrofit. Obviously, the design upgrade happens automatically. You can take control of that if you like, but that means going into every single design that you have and upgrading the hyperdrive. And to be honest, you can just let your ships do their own thing, and that's kind of what we're doing. Private ships will also upgrade to the latest technology. So if you get a new hyperdrive, they will get that as well. And before they have it, they'll be moving fairly slowly. Okay, population growth looking good. So this is a independent freighter. So you will get independent freighters come and bring you resources. So if you do run out of resources, it's not the end of the world because an independent trader may pop along. And we've got another leader as well. Let's have a look at what we got here. Okay, so you've got some new traits. You've got controlling minds, you're measured, you're an engineer, and you're labour orientated. All of this is pretty good. So you've got more colony income, sensor research, which is nice. You've got facility construction speed. So your main traits that are increasing are the hard drive research, ship maintenance savings, sensor research, and colony income. All of which, perfect. Like that a lot. We need to get some troops here, because the longer you leave your general without doing anything, the longer it's chance he's going to pick up a bad trait. So we need to do that. And do we have anywhere we can send you? No. What I should probably do is construct a research station around here, because research stations dictate how much research you create. So the more research places you find, the better. And let us recruit some troops. Don't want to get too many, but something like that hopefully will have given the general. Ah, there we go. So he's now got good ground logisticon because we've recruited some troops, and if we recruit some more, he may get a better trait. But to be honest, as long as he's doing something, that's fine. I think they have changed it, because before, leaving your characters in one space would mean that they tend to get really bad traits from not doing anything, which was kind of, you know, lame, because early on your generals don't have anything to do. But they've changed that slightly, so I think they tend to get less. They tend to get worse. They tend to get bad traits less often, which I think is a good change. So here we go. One of our ships, the Dusty Resolution, has engaged its hyperdrive, allowing our Empire to traverse fast and light for the first time. Distances that previously months traversed can now be covered in nearly instantaneously. Next stop, the stars. So if we try and find out... Oh, there we go. So there's one of our ships. You can see it's now moving a lot faster. And some of our other ships have also been retrofitted, and they are now heading out to other distant planetary bodies in our solar system to go and explore them. And this has opened up our entire solar system now, which is what I like about this game, is you kind of have these steps. You kind of start off on your planet. You know, you're only able to really like explore your neighboring planetary bodies. Then suddenly you get your solar system jump drive, so you can like see everything in your solar system. And then you get the one that lets you jump between systems, and then suddenly, you know, you've got the galaxy within reason, obviously, because you have fuel. Every ship has fuel, and they need to refuel, and that's something else. That's something we need to do quite quickly, actually, is discover a source of fuel and make sure. Talking of fuel, there we go. Make sure that we can refuel our ships. So we're going to build a small mining station there. Get that one going. The yellow bar around these resources tells me that we've actually got an oversupply, which means we've got more than we need. And the red is like, yeah, we desperately need this. So obviously the production shortage here is 16.67 every second. So we really need a source of fuel so our ships can continue to jump around. Oh no, we've got a critical research failure on our stable warp fields. Means we have lost some research. This means it's going to take 10.6 years to get that. It's a bit rough. And we've discovered some other resources, including some luxury resources. Luxury resources aren't required for building stuff, but if you supply your colony with them, it will provide your colony with development, which gives you more money effectively. So the more luxury resources you can supply your planets, the better your empire is going to be. So we've discovered the Hall of Talos. We've discovered the Hall of Talos, ancient ruins from a lost civilization at the sandy desert planet of Spatula in the Talos system. Obviously, we're going to investigate it. Unpleasant things. There are things on this world, living things that are not Gizurean. They are unfamiliar, but something about them suggests they may be delicious. We'll have to report back. They move to and fro, making noises that resemble language, and yet no one from our world can understand them. So maybe not language after all. These creatures work strange devices, possibly machines, though we do not recognize them, so also possibly junk. Before killing and eating these creatures, should we study them? Or there may be machines. Doing so will distract us from other important projects, such as growing stronger. It might be simply better to devour them. Let's study them. It is good to learn. These creatures had intelligence of a sort. They did not seem to like it when we ate them. We have discovered they really are like football hooligans, and we should take over the operation of their machines, which are now our machines. We own them. We have studied their research base and learned to operate it, and we now know all the things they knew. Exploration is almost as enjoyable as in consumption. It's time to start looking for more aliens. We have found technology that's given us research breakthroughs and we ate some Ticans, I guess. I guess we ate some... I mean, you know, sometimes you've got to eat people, eh? Sometimes you've got... Talking of Ticans and eating people, I guess it was this planet. Is this planet good? Oh, that's pretty... That is very colonizable, to be fair. we've got this one's very colonizable. We've also found some Tecans living on another planet nearby, which is also very colonizable. To be honest, anything better than 20 is good. Well, 20 is basically bait. You don't really want anything less than 20, but you can deal with it. But 40 and 35, very good. So we've got a couple of very good potential colonies right off the bat, which is great for our growing numbers. So we basically want to keep that on. We also ideally will find some more research locations. Currently, we've got 3. Where's this one? Oh, that's their research. Oh, that's their research station. Oh, so we got some. We got some extra research there. Oh, that's nice. So we've basically found a research station which doesn't have any actual research bonus, but you can't build research stations anywhere normally. So getting a research station like that is super useful. The bonuses allow you to research. So when it comes to research, you can research a certain amount of stuff, but after a certain way along the research tree, you need a percentage, like it's like a gate percentage effect. It might say you need 40%, troop research to be able to research this. So unless you have 40%, you can't get it. So you either need 40% troop research or 40% just general research. Now, obviously, currently we have a minus 15% research, which means anything we need, if it says we need 40%, we actually need like 55% because we already get a negative modifier. So research for us is actually quite tricky up to a certain point unless we can get enough research locations. So we need to be looking for those and picking them up as quickly as possible. And if we find our enemies have some, then obviously we need to, grab them off them. Okay, we've got a stable warp field research completed, which now means we can jump between systems, or at least we can once our ships are retrofitted, which now is the time to start building more ships, in my opinion. So I want... Look how much money we've got. What do I do about that? Got to keep an eye on our money. Your money... I mean, okay, so we've got plus 1,000 there. That's not necessarily an indication... Well, it's a general indication of how well your economy is doing. It doesn't mean you're getting like 1,000 every month or something. Your money will go up and down, and you'll find, particularly once you've researched new technologies, you seem to get an income boost, and that's because the entire private sector will be using all of your shipyards to upgrade their ships, and they pay for that. They have their own sort of like income, so you need to make sure that your private sector doesn't run out of money, because that's bad. As long as your economy's not doing too badly, you generally should be fine. I've never really had a problem with that. As long as you're building mining stations, keeping your colonies supplied. But as you can see, we now have our Pathfinders heading at... Hello? The new pirate faction, the Deadly Council. Okay, so these guys are pirates, and basically we can pay for a protection treaty, whereby they won't try and kill me. Early on, it just kind of makes sense to pay the pirates, because their ships tend to be significantly better than yours at this point in time. There's not much you can do about it. So you may as well just pay them. It will take a little chunk out of your economy, but eventually you can turn the tables on them. Or alternatively, you can actually sort of like semi-incorporate them into your empire by making friends with them. And they can actually be semi-useful. So sometimes it's worth it. Most of the other races won't like the pirates, and if you ally yourself with them, then they won't like that. But they just give them money. Frankly, it's that, or your mining stations start exploding, and that's just a kind of a pain in the ass.